Hey guys, it's Josh Vision. I'm here to give you my Vikings Season 5, Episodes 1 and 2 review. First off, this episode was amazing. 2-hour premiere. I'm so thankful they gave this to us after such a long wait. I think it was like 9 months. But yeah, a lot of things happened this episode. We begin this episode with Sigurd's funeral. It was a really emotional scene, obviously. Sigurd died, and Ube, I think he gave Sigurd something. He gave Ivar. And that says a lot, that I noticed Ube's look. Everyone's giving Ivar like looks like, how could you? But Ube's look was like, wow. Like it really got to that point you killed your own brother. After that, we had this meeting, peak view of it a few months ago, but Ivar saying that he didn't mean to kill Sigurd. It was his anger, that was controlling him. He let his anger get the best of him. Truly apologizes for all that. But obviously his brothers don't really buy that notion. After that, when Ivar leaves, Ube tells Bjorn, he's like, listen, man, you can't leave him in charge of the Great Heathen Army. Hey, you're his big brother, Ube. You have to lead him. Or you can be the leader. I have nothing to do with this. I'm going to Mediterranean. So once again, I know I made videos on this before. I did not like this at all. I understand Bjorn, where he's coming from. He wants to go to Mediterranean. It's just hypocritical. It's like, you're his big brother. It's like, Bjorn, you're the eldest one of the entire group, man. Have some figure responsibility. You got to address this. But it's whatever. After that, we have this interesting scene between Halfdan and Finehair. And King Finehair, as he said in the last episode, season 4B, he said that he's trying to go back to Kattegat. He has things to handle Kattegat. As we know, he basically tried to get Eagle the Bastard, to do what he had to do. Miserably. And like they're roasting him like a pig. So Halfdan says to his brother, he says, you know what? You and I are just different, man. I don't care about being the king. I don't care about ruling. I just want to travel, And regardless of where I'm going with Ironside, I'm always going to be there. I'm always going to be your backup. Whether I'm there or not, I'm still going to have your back. So after that, we see Finehair and Bjorn depart. And, Finehair, Halfdan depart. And Finehair is kind of in his feelings. He has that look like, you left me for a Ragnarsson. After that, we have this really touching scene with Ivar and Floki. Ivar asks Floki why he's building a toy. Floki's like, this isn't a toy boat. I'm off to wherever the gods are trying to take me, Ivar, off to this point, how he's very uncompromising, very blunt, very straightforward, doesn't ask for anything. He begs Floki to stay because he said Floki is really his only friend. Breaks down a bit, saying that his brothers don't believe that, that he didn't mean to kill Sigurd. They all think he meant to do that. And he says that Floki's the only one, that can understand him, really honest with. And Floki says, Ivar, you don't need my help. You're strong your own. And since Ragnar died, my daughter, and now Helga, life doesn't interest me as much. I have to go on this journey on my own. I just hope you can understand. After that, we get to Wessex, and we finally meet Bishop Heckman, played by Jonathan Myers. So, Jonathan Myers, Bishop Heckman, him and his little entourage, I think they're kind of prelude Templar. They make it to Wessex, and the villa is just freaking destroyed, man. The Vikings partied hard. They destroyed everything. I think at one point in one of the halls, there was like pigs everywhere. Excrement, all the crap. It was just disgusting. Heckman says, listen, if we could find the king's body, let's do that, all right? Go try to find, the king's body, any possible survivors of this. So a part of his crew actually finds King Egbert's body. Now, I don't know if it was a barrel of wine, a barrel of water, or a barrel of piss, but it was a really disrespectful way to handle a body. So they find the body and they give King Egbert a proper, you know, king like burial, which is presided over by Bishop Heckman himself. After that, he's basically trying to come up with a plan on how to deal with the pagans, the Vikings. And we find out there was one survivor left, and that one survivor proved to be instrumental. Tells Bishop Heyman that essentially, although Egbert did sign the legal documents, hand over I believe the kingdom of East Anglia to the Vikings, he was no longer the king. Remember in the last season he did a previous. I think he did something which his kingship and gave it to his son, so it wasn't legally binding. Aethelwulf was the king. So Bishop Heyman was impressed by that, and now he's still. Well, I think he tells one of his soldiers, all the people that have left, tell them to come back. After that, we have this interesting dinner scene between Ivar, Visick, and Ube about what to do next. Ube says, following, his father's dream, that they should just try to claim and sell the land that King Egbert gave to them. And Ivar is like, you know what? I agree with you, but we should go furthermore. Because one, it doesn't make sense for us to, we're in the middle of England. We're in the middle of the kingdom. Enemies all surrounding us. So it makes sense for us to sort of go after York, which is basically near the coast, and it makes it easier for us to raid whenever we want. And plus, since it's near the coast, it's very close to our homeland. And we need a stronghold, a fortified stronghold, instead of just trying to claim and sell the land and all that crap. So Vixen agreed with him, and Ube was kind of pissed, but he smiled it off. He's like, oh, I agree. Took his dinner outside. So the next day, we see Ube, Visick, and Ivar sort of observing, the town of York and what's the best way to attack it and what's the best way to go about it. And Ube brought up something very interesting, which he said that telling him the best way to attack a Christian town is during Sundays, because that's when people are usually going to church or they're freaking hammered. So Ivar, that was said, the look on his face was kind of like he was mad he didn't think of that, but he was mad that Ragnar told Ube that. But yeah, so they were trying to figure out though, like, when is the right time. So they find these two little kids in the language of the Saxons. So he finds out that the Day of Ascension is basically 3 days from now. So they have to wait 3 days. So they go 3 days, they enter York, they destroy it. And plus, when they got out of that church, it was crazy because I don't think in this series seen a brutal just beat down and mauling that the Vikings ever gave that was similar to this. Not even season 1 or 2. They destroyed everyone. Visick was destroying everybody left and right. You got Ivar crawling in the church. Boom, boom. At one point, he got the bishop and he poured molten hot lava on this dude's face. Killed him immediately, obviously. But what's interesting about this is, like, Ivar and Visick was really enjoying the destruction of this. Ube was very kind of like alienated. It was like he was not enjoying any of it. At one point, Visick dragged some church woman, possibly to rape her. And Ube was just kind of like, he's not really about that life. He's very much like his father. He doesn't really go into that dark aspect of the Vikings. And one of the church women, I think, killed herself, when Ube just caught her in his arms. After the fight or the massacre, we see Ivar, Visick, and Ube basically just sitting down drinking, and Ube seemed like he had like a PTSD moment. Just so disgusted and so like in shock about what he actually seen, what was done. Once again, Ivar Visick did not give two craps. After that, I believe Visick, it was later in the episode, but Visick and Ube tried to see Ivar. Ivar has bodyguards now. And they're like, "Do you know who we are?" And they're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Okay, let us through." The guy's like, no. You gotta ask Ivar." And Ube's like, "Listen, it don't matter if you ask Ivar, because I'm gonna make sure you don't have a tongue anymore. Don't test me." So eventually they open rank, and Ube and Vista were able to get through. And it was so interesting because Ivar, after winning his first battle, big old tattoo on the back, on his back. And you're just like, wow, this dude is really that extreme. So Ube's kind of like, why do you need personal bodyguards, Ivar, from your brothers? And I was like, I don't need personal bodyguards from you. I was like, because I'm a cripple and I need bodyguards. So after that, they talk about, about the leadership, and Ube tries to make Ivar understand, listen, let's get this one thing clear, little brother. You are not the leader of this army. All three of us are equally the leaders, all right? You get that? And I was like, yeah, I get that. And then as soon as they leave, Ivar has his trademark Ivar look like, no. At the end, by the end of this, I'm gonna be the leader. We are not equals. So after that, King Finehair returning to Kattegat. He returns to Kattegat. He tells Lagatha that, tell him about the success of the great heathen army led by Bjorn, and how the only person that died of Ragnar's sons was Sigurd, and that was at the hands of Ivar. Alan nodding, because as we know from last season, she knows that Eagle is the one that basically was Finehair's guy to try to take her out so he could become king of Kattegat. So Lagatha says to him, I know what you did. And at this point, I believe Astrid takes out her sword and has it right by King Finehair's throat. And Lagatha's kind of smiling, just trying to see what he's going to do. Just want to see what Finehair's going to do. Like, are you going to flinch? What are you going to do? Finehair's like, you know what? I don't care. Kill me. After that, the next scene, we see Finehair in this little place. He's beat up, he's hanged, he's cuffed, and all that crap. So Lagatha says, why should I spare you? And King Finehair's like, because I have no reason. The only reason why I wanted to become king of Norway was because of my so-called love of my life. And she ended up basically marrying a nobody, a Danish earl. And Lagatha said, what happened to him? He said, I killed him. And now that she's dead, I no longer have any ambition to be the king. I just want to be your ally, or for one thing in exchange. So Lagatha's like, okay, what is your proposition? He says, well, you have no man, I have no woman. Let's get married. And Lagatha's like, hold up, no. And she had this little act where Bible say, I'm going to prostrate myself for you and all this crap. And then she proceeds start riding King Finehair like a pony, literally, like a genuine video. She was riding him like a bull. And then after that, she leaves. And I think Finehair would just kind of figure out what the crap happened. I told myself, and I can't even clean myself up because I'm tied with these dang handcuffs. Anyways, after that, Lagatha tells her little squad, essentially, about King Finehair's proposition. Astrid obviously is not having it. Lagatha said, listen, I can make my own choices. It doesn't matter what you think. I have the last word. So Astrid leaves. She goes off. And then all of a sudden, she's basically taken away by these big, strong, muscular dudes and thrown to a boat. And we find out those are actually King Finehair's men. And he actually found a way to get out of that little. And he gives Astrid a proposition, which I did not see coming for any of my predictions for this season. He tells Astrid, listen, I need a queen that could be fertile, pretty, and all that stuff. So, and Astrid's kind of shocked. At first, she was like, no, I will never betray Lagatha. But then she's like, Queen of Kattegat, just a queen. And she was starting to think about it. The wheels were rolling in her head. So that really shocked me. That's very interesting to see how that goes. Either she's gonna be like the lover of Ivar, or she was just gonna join like Ivar and fine here, just have some bitterness with Lagatha. But now it's kind of like, well, there's a little bit of bitterness with Lagatha, but now it's like she is basically could be the queen of Kattegat. And she no longer has to basically deal with Lagatha's BS and Lagatha's control issues. She could be her own person, her own queen. So that was really shocking. Now, to Wessex. Well, not really to Wessex, but the Little Marshes. So Alfred, we get to see the teenage versions of both Alfred and Ethelred, and he's sick as crap. He looks horrible. Really, really horrible. So I believe at one point, Judith and Aethelwulf were talking, and Aethelwulf saying this is all part of God's plan to make us suffer for our sins, whatever. Men are just another part of that plan, whatever. And Judith's like, yeah, all this to blame. God's doing this. It's the Northmen's fault, being very sarcastic, and it's their fault at this point. Because obviously, her son's dying, and she's trying her best, but it doesn't seem like anything's working. But one thing I noticed actually during that scene was the fact that it was a look that Aethelred gave. At first, I thought they were going to be like really like good brothers in the sense of no conflict, whatever. They were going to be basically the opposite. They're going to be the opposite of the Ragnarsons. They'll be more like Bindhair and Halfdan, except not as crazy and. But after seeing that look he gave Alfred while Alfred was sick, it was kind of that look like this piece of crap. I just wish you died. But not me. I'm overshadowed. Even Grandpa gave you more love than me. You're not even his biological son. You know what I mean? Grandson. That was the kind of look, that he gave him. And even more of a look later in this review let me get to. So eventually, Alfred, he's able to actually sit down. He's by the river, whatever. And at some point, he sees this vision. First, I thought it was him going closer to like some death god, whatever, or the Grim Reaper. And then I noticed like the sort of like rope thing around his waist. And I was saying, what, this might be Athelstan. But when it turned around, he didn't really see a face. And then we see Alfred collapse into the water. I believe Aethelwulf and brought him to safety. He coughs up some crap, and then he tells his parents that the Northmen are in York and that they need, and that basically Aethelwulf has to protect the people. And Aethelwulf's like, how'd you know? And Alfred says, my father told me. Even in death, Athelstan has his importance. So, anyways, let's get to Floki. So Floki, he basically leaves. Well, he's on his way leaving. Ube Visser is like, so you're going to leave without saying goodbye? And Floki's like, well, that was kind of the plan because I didn't want any of y'all to stop me. After that, Floki says goodbye to Visik and Ube. And Ivar was talking crap to Floki. And Floki's like, hey, how about you stand up and say that to my face? And after that, Floki's on his way. And while he's rowing away, all the people from the Great Heathen Army are basically giving him his props, saying, all hail Floki, the greatest boat builder, ever, and all that stuff. So Floki has a little journey, makes it to Iceland after what it seemed like forever. And just the sight of Iceland, just like the sights, it was just really amazing. Just the joy he got, especially near the end when he says, I made it to Asgard, and he's laughing with his, happy Floki. I think literally since the last part of season 3, a generally happy, sort of rejuvenated Floki. So let's get to Bishop Heyman. So Bishop Heckman, and are basically observing York. His reconnaissance team tells him that the Vikings have done a good job of basically refortifying the city and building necessary barriers and defenses against them, and that they probably don't have the manpower to take them Heckman's like, listen, they're not that good. All right, we can find a way to take them. He also said a little bit of a diss towards Egbert when referring to Aethelwulf. He was saying, I wish I had Aethelwulf with me because unlike his father, he's actually known more for being more of a warrior. Shots fired right there. So ironically, Ronnie says that Aethelwulf got his army coming right towards them. So they actually meet up, and basically it seems as though Judith has a thing with like troubled men, spiritual, whatever, because her and Bishop Heckman was giving each other the looks. That was serious. So it's like, yep, yep. And basically during the dinner, Bishop Heckman asks Alfred about what he was taught by about his grandfather, King Egbert, and Alfred said, well, he was the most generous guy I ever known. He taught me everything from philosophy to warfare. He was very wise and all that stuff. I learned a lot from him. After that, they go more to the battle plans for what they should do to attack, the Vikings. And basically, Heckman finds out that there's still parts of the wall that are from the Roman days, so they're very easy to sort of destroy through, in a sense, to attack the heathen army. And I believe Aethelwulf's like, well, okay, let's do it now. But Heckman's like, nah, let's wait. We got to be patient with this. Let's not try to go in full cock. Let's just relax, take our time, but we'll have them either way. I think Aethelwulf's kind of like, all right. He doesn't really like it, but it's whatever. The other one, Ethelred, his son, he was like, oh my God, why do we have to wait? Already, I don't like this little bastard. Already. First, he gives Alfred the look like, screw you, they give me more attention. Now he seems like to be like an impatient hothead. It's only been 2 scenes you see this dude, or maybe 5. Oh, but whatever, So after that, I believe, I'm trying to think, was that basically everything that happened? Oh no, one last thing. We find out while Ivar speaks with Ube and Visig, Ube and Visig mentions to Ivar that the Saxons are already planning to attack York. And Ivar is caught off guard by this. And Ube's like, oh, but we thought you knew. Basically saying to Ivar, you think you're so smart, so much smarter than us, but we knew what you didn't know. So try that on for you. And Ivar has that look like, once again, he's just like, God, why didn't I know that? Guys, that's all that happened in this episode. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate it. I'm gonna have a video, all the episodes of season 5, maybe some more theory videos, and thank you guys once again. Adios.